guys, welcome to my channel. Oh wait, I need to get the book. Well, no, I'm fine. You know I have it. Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming a video that I think is going to be a little bit controversial, and I'm almost feeling like I don't necessarily want to step on this landmine, but whatever. So I want to talk to you about Jane Austen leading men or heroes and why Mr. Darcy is not my favorite. Also, the one that I think is the best, the very best. So let's get into it. So I will just say that for me, Mr. Darcy is great. I love all of the movie versions of Pride and Prejudice. I have seen them all. I enjoy them all. They're amazing. I don't necessarily have a favorite because I feel like they've all been my favorite at different times in my life. I used to really enjoy the version with Greer Garson and Laurence Olivier, and I love the costumes. I know they're not period accurate, but there's just something wonderful about that movie. I also enjoyed the 1995 version with Colin Firth, and I don't know the girl's name, but it's great. Obviously, Colin Firth, hello. And then the new version with Keira Knightley, I also really enjoyed, but Mr. Darcy is not my favorite Jane Austen hero because Mr. Darcy is probably most like me personality-wise, and I'm not really attracted to people who are the same personality as me, which is a good thing. Like, love yourself, but don't love yourself. Okay, so he is kind of reserved. He comes across as arrogant. He comes across as this person who looks down on other people and thinks that he's better than them. And that's how I've been told I am. People see me and think, wow, she's a jerk. And I've learned to accept that. Like, I don't try to come off that way. I am very quiet, very reserved, and not very good in social situations. I'm definitely an introvert. So when Mr. Darcy says things like I'm going to paraphrase very heavily, don't get mad at me. He says something along the lines of, I don't have the ability to converse easily with people I don't know. And I will put the exact quote here before people freak out on me. And I feel that. Like, I feel that in my soul. I do not have the ability to make small talk. I am not good at it. I am not an extrovert. I am not someone who gets excited about going and meeting new people. Like, I don't hate people. I just am not good in social situations. And that's why Mr. Darcy, to me, although I can totally relate to him and I like him and I love the movies, he's not the hero for me. I will just say he's great, but yeah, I feel like I relate to him more on a personal, like, hey, yeah, we would understand each other, but if we were ever to get together, we'd never go out. So that's a problem. So my favorite Jane Austen hero is actually Henry Tilney from Northanger Abbey. I love that character. I love Northanger Abbey, and Henry Tilney is perfect in my opinion. He is outgoing, he's fun, he's just adorable. And the version with, I don't remember when it was done. What's that girl's name? Anyway, the movie version is really great too. I don't know of another. Oh, there's two. No, I haven't seen the other one. Okay, hang on. The newer version. Anyway, I'll put it here. So I love the movie version of this, and I will watch the older version at some point, but haven't gotten around to it yet. But I just love him. I love how he is just cute and sweet, and he has this really deep sense of honor. And as soon as he sees how Catherine is treated and how she's basically snubbed by his family, he immediately goes to her and proposes. He's like, I have to take care of this. He's definitely not someone who is constrained by the idea that he needs to please his family, and that can be bad and good. But he feels this devotion to her, and when he feels like his family kind of, his dad in particular, turns his back on her as a potential mate and, isn't gonna, isn't on board with their relationship, he's like, well, no, I'm going to go find her, and she's the one now, which just sounds terrible, but I'm just saying. He is willing to, like, he's kind of the anti-Mr. Darcy in that way, and that he's willing to ignore all the things that society is telling him are important and go with the girl that he picked that he loves. whereas Mr. Darcy is very, very concerned with the look and the propriety and how things appear in society. And that's why he has such a hard time with Elizabeth. And Catherine is kind of a funny character. She seems a bit naive, a bit foolish, and he still loves her. So I'm like, yeah, maybe she's not the best, but he's just a sweetie, and that's my favorite. And I feel like he's the type of person I would be drawn to because he's able to be very outgoing and lively and entertaining, and that takes all the pressure off of me as a person. So I think that's why I would be most attracted to, and why Henry Tilney is my favorite of the Jane Austen men. A close runner-up would be Mr. Knightley from Emma. I really like Mr. Knightley, and one of the first Jane Austen films I ever saw was Emma with Gwyneth Paltrow. And I just love that version, and I love that version of Mr. Knightley. But he's also similarly a very stand-up guy. He is a very, like the definition of a gentleman, but he's, unlike Mr. Darcy, doesn't seem to have any reservations about being in society. He's definitely like okay with being the gentleman out in society. And he is a good character, in my opinion. I like him. And he is just, his relationship with Emma is much more how I had my relationship with my husband. They're antagonistic towards each other. They fight. They are calling each other out on stuff. And that's what I can relate to. So I really like Mr. Knightley. And I like that he picks Emma when she's very flawed. I can relate to that. I'm a really flawed person, and I like that he doesn't expect her to be perfect. He still loves her, and he sees all that about her and is still loving of her. I feel like Elizabeth is really put on a pedestal because she does seem very perfect. Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. Whereas Emma is definitely an extremely flawed character, and I can relate to that. I feel like Mr. Knightley loving her despite all her flaws is just cute, and she loves him despite all his flaws. He's not perfect either. So last but not least, I'm going to go with Captain Wentworth from Persuasion, and I do think he's a very kind of tragic romantic hero, and he's rejected initially by Anne because he has no fortune, and their relationship is just sad and a little bit like they've both tried to move on, and they're both still holding this torch for each other, and they're still in love, but he's trying to move on in society, and he now has a fortune, and he's made his fortune in the army, and he comes back into her life. And in the movie, it's really well done. I do like the book, obviously, but the movie version is great too, where it shows that she's kind of aged, and she's not feeling secure in her future, and he comes along, and he's trying to forget about her and find just someone who will love him. And he, makes some mistakes and kind of pursues the wrong people, but he really still only wants to be with her. And I like that. And the letter that he writes her at the end, right here in the fields, like right here. So that's my reasoning behind my top 3, if you will, main Jane Austen heroes. I would love to hear who your favorite is, who you love, who you hate, characters that just really get you in your feels, because that's where I'm with the Jane Austen books and characters. And also, let me know if you are a huge Mr. Darcy fan. Like I said, I understand the love of Mr. Darcy. Like, I will take nothing away from Mr. Darcy. Mr. Darcy is great. But for me personally, I just feel like he's not the character that I most would relate to or want to be with on a romantic level. But I do appreciate him, and I love those books. So let me know what guys you like, what girls you like, who you prefer. Yeah, let's chat. And thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Talk to you soon. Bye.